Welcome friends. Thank you for joining us. This is the Paranormal News Network. And now it's time for another story of paranormal interest. Today's story is entitled,
Why I Believe in Ghosts. As a child, I was never a believer in ghosts. It wasn't until I moved into a new house in the middle of the woods that I began to change my mind. It was an old house, with creaky floorboards and a musty smell. My parents had gotten it for a steal, and we were all excited to start fresh in a new place. But strange things began to happen almost immediately. Doors would open and close on their own, objects would move around without explanation, and we would hear strange noises coming from the attic at night. At first, my parents brushed it off as the house settling or the wind blowing through the trees. But I knew better. I could feel a presence in the house that I couldn't explain. But one night when I was home alone, I had my first real encounter with the ghost. I was sitting in my room, reading a book, when I heard footsteps outside my door. I assumed it was one of my parents, but when I called out, no one answered. The footsteps continued, getting closer and closer to my door, until suddenly the handle began to turn. I froze, unable to move or speak, as the door slowly opened. And there, standing in the doorway, was a figure that I can only describe as a ghost. It was a woman, dressed in a black dress, with long black hair and pale skin. She was staring at me with empty eyes, and I could feel a cold chill run down my spine. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The ghost just stood there, motionless, for what felt like an eternity. And then, just as suddenly as she had appeared, she vanished into thin air. From that moment on, I was convinced that ghosts were real. One day I mentioned to a neighbor that I believed the house was haunted. The neighbor's family had lived there for generations, and so they knew a lot about the house's past residents. I discovered that it had once been owned by a woman who had died under mysterious circumstances. Some people believed that she had been murdered by her husband, while others claimed that she had taken her own life. But regardless of how she died, I was certain that her spirit was still haunting the house. Over the years, I had many more encounters with the ghost. Sometimes she would appear to me in the middle of the night, standing at the foot of my bed. Other times, I would hear her voice whispering my name from the shadows. But I eventually outgrew my fear of her. In fact, I felt a strange sense of comfort in her presence, as if she was watching over me and protecting me. And so, that is why I believe in ghosts. Because I have seen one with my own eyes, and I know that they are not just a figment of our imaginations. They are real, and they are all around us, watching, waiting, and sometimes even helping us when we need it most.
well, that was interesting. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you for joining us again today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and most especially, please share your stories of paranormal interest in the comment section. Your story may be featured on a future episode. Since most submissions are made anonymously, please assume all content is for entertainment purposes only. Any resemblance to persons living or dead should be considered coincidental. And the dead should not be disturbed for any reason.